Hey everybody, this is Stephen Holland.
And this is Tyler Kent
with Property Champions Real Estate, and we're here along with you all to show our support for the Dothan Wolves and wish them great success on a winning season.
Just as they pursue a championship, we're here to provide championship results with all of your real estate goals.
So you can call or text me, Stephen Holland, at 334-797-0134.
Or me, Tyler Kent, at 205-413-2304.
Go Wolves!
It's Dothan High School Wolves football on your home for great country legends. 96.9 The Legend. And now it's the Jed Kennedy Coaches Show, brought to you by Property Champions.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jed Kennedy Coaches Show, brought to you by Property Champions. I am Philip Jordan, in-studio host and producer for Dothan Wolves football, right here on 96.9 The Legend. Each week, Jerry Coleman and Ken Lambert sit down with Dothan Wolves head coach Jed Kennedy to look back at the previous game and preview the upcoming opponent. Tonight, Coach Kennedy will discuss the Wolves' 45-19 season opening win on the road against Carroll and preview this Friday night's home and region opener against the Lee Generals of Montgomery. We'll take a short break, but when we return, Jerry and Ken will be joined by Coach Kennedy right here on 96.9 The Legend.
Hey everybody, this is Stephen Holland with Property Champions Real Estate, and just as every Dothan Wolves player and coach are here to pursue and achieve their championship goals, I'm here to provide and deliver championship results for you with all of your real estate needs. So whether you're buying or selling any type of property anywhere at all, I'm always just a call or text away. So feel free to reach out to me at 334-797-0134. 797-0134. Go Wolves.
All right, welcome back to the Jed Kennedy Coaches Show here on 96.9 The Legend. And Coach, good victory Friday night against Carroll. I know it's kind of we talked last week on the show that week 0, week 1, you kind of don't know what your expectations are. You know what you've seen all summer camp and kind of get in the fall, but haven't seen any tape on your opponent. But give us a few comments about what you thought about Friday night's game with the Wolves against the Eagles of Carroll High School.
Well, I think number one, I think we talked about it last week, was, every day matters, 14 days count, and Friday nights counted. And, we're 1-0. And the ultimate goal when you walk off the field is to win the football game. We were able to do that. So sitting here on a Sunday meeting, it's a lot better at 1-0 than it is at 0-1. I'm proud of the kids. They've worked extremely hard. Bought into a lot of new things. We talked about that. But I just think it was a little bit of a payday for what's been a long 5 or 6 months, and probably the hardest they've ever been to had to work or had to be invested into something. So that was just great for them to do that. Was it perfect at all times? No. There was a lot of good things. There was some great things. There was some average things. There was some bad things. But when it came out to it, once we got through those first 4 or 5 minutes, I'm just happy. We're down 13-0 5 minutes into the game, and our kids never folded. I think we outscored them 38-6 after the first 5 minutes of the game. So we really, I thought, was a pretty dominant performance from us. And the one thing I've learned doing this, it's never sometimes as good as you think it is until you watch film, and sometimes never as bad as you think it is. And the pleasant thing for us was, when we watched film, both offensively and defensively, we looked much better on film than we thought we did watching from the sidelines on the game. So we were certainly excited about that, and got a lot of things we got to work on. I'm going to make some movements schematically, or I should say not schematically, but personnel-wise. Like I said, you can't simulate that type of setting till you get in a game, and just our job as coaches is to put kids in position where their skill set fits. So I'm expect us to even play better tomorrow night against Lee than we did last week against Carroll.
Well, one thing Ken and I talked about, we got there early, not saying, kind of wanted to see where we were going to set up at, and wanted to have time to get on the field, maybe spend some time with the coaches. But, Ken and I noticed real quick how organized things were from warm-ups to kickoff. Special teams coming out as a group, and then the rest of the team coming out, and I'm going to say groups of pairs instead of stagnant across the field. It's kind of lined up, organized. And I tell you what I wouldn't say surprised me, Coach, but I know right when the halftime buzzer went off, everybody knew where they were going. I mean, it wasn't like you had to round kids up. And I mean, you got a 20-minute window to make changes of anything you saw in the first half that you wanted to do. But it seems like the team and the kids knew we got to get in the locker room, find out what we need to do different or what we're going to do different in the second half. And we've got a small window to do that. And Ken, you may want to comment on those, how organized things were that we just picked up from the booth before kickoff.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we noticed that right off the bat. And that's always, when your first game is an away game and you've got to work on that itinerary, everything's new and setting up. And but we knew that was something that was practiced, and you saw that coming out, and you knew that the kids were ready before we even kicked the ball off.
We have the philosophy here: how you do anything is how you do everything. And how our locker room looks is going to be a reflection of how we play. How our warm-ups are will be a reflection of how we play. You can't pick and choose when you're going to have discipline. I mean, you're either disciplined or you're not disciplined. And, we believe that's really every aspect of our program. And the kids, like I said, the kids done an awesome job buying into those things and are starting to see that carry over. And really it's a tribute to we've got great assistant coaches. Everybody has a job. We don't put our thumb on them. They just do their job. And it's like I said, it's a well-oiled machine. I think I've been fortunate, been able to been doing this for a long time, kind of have a plan of how I think is best to get us to that 7:00 kickoff. And again, have great coaches like Justin Jones as our offensive coordinator, assistant head coach, that understand that plan and kind of help the program. It's because, like I say, it shouldn't be one of those things where it has to be head coach driven and I have to be there. And if I'm not there, it doesn't. It's, my goal is that if I'm ever not at a game, which hopefully doesn't happen, that the same thing happens and people just know that that's how we do things, because that's the Dothan way of doing things. And I know Coach Plott, we were standing there in warm-ups and it was, I don't know, maybe 6:30. And he said, Coach, it's just a different feel. It's a different team. You just look down, it's just different. And he said, Coach, your players and staff should be really proud of themselves. And I think that after the game, he would say that things probably look different on the field also.
Right. And, we talked last week, and we'll continue to talk all year about the athletes and their ability that you even saw when you were enterprise of the Dothan team, and of course, kids coming up. And we talked a lot highlighting backs. I mean, a lot of, let me say running backs in the stable, if that's the best way to put it. A lot of options back there to go back. But one thing Ken and I really commented on, probably more, that probably should do a better job of, is that offensive line, that front five, and how well we thought they opened up holes and all on Friday night. So if you would comment a little bit about the front five offensively.
Yeah, well, I think it's been a complete culture shift offensively. They were based out of the spread. I mean, the other night we threw the ball 3 times, and we ran one formation, which is crazy. And that's long term, that's not going to be who we are, but we got to do what we can do right now to win football games. And, the reality is when I took this job, there was 2 things that had to happen. We had to have great O-line play, and we had to play great defense. And the staff hires were so huge with that. And Jackson Hanson and John Bizoons have done a phenomenal job with the offensive line. They're great relationship people. They develop great relationship with kids. And as you know, there's no position that has that togetherness like an offensive line. Our group's the same here. They went for pizza last week, one day after practice, and they're always communicating with those coaches and the coaches with them. But they did a good job for day one. We've got to continue to get better. But Anthony Castillo played outside tackle for us, or inside tackle for us. Jamarius Standard, one of our captains, played outside tackle. Cassius Brady played guard. Isaiah Mayaki played center. Chris Gibson played the other guard for us, and Keneal Jones played tight end. What's crazy is we had 2 starters who didn't even play for us. Marcus McClure will be back in a week, and
Wow.
Or maybe best offensive line, or one of them, Obo, was at inside tackle. So we certainly it's a great group. We've got 2 sophomores we don't even mention who just are just, I mean, the one kid's, Myquan Williams is 6'4", 270 pounds, and Lewis Snellard 6'3", 295 pounds. So we got some good players coming. We got great coaches, and for us to be successful on offense, we'll look every week at the offensive line. If they block people and move people, we're going to move the ball. If they don't, it's going to be a long night for us. And like you said, we got pretty talented backs. We always will here, and we just got to get their ball in their hands.
And looking at that front five, so when everybody gets back, Coach, you'll have, what do you think, a number-wise offensive line, kind of in a rotation, whether somebody goes down or somebody gets tired?
I mean, I think we're going to have eight or nine kids that could play a week, not play a week, could rotate in and out of a game. It's, to me, the best way for success is competition. And we've got a lot of positions on the offensive line where they know if they don't play well, the guy behind them is not far behind them. And we got a great mix of seniors, Jamarius Standard to juniors, Anthony Castillo, Chris Gibson to seniors, or I should say to sophomores. So it's a great mix of kids, and certainly need that group to be the backbone of that offense.
It kind of puts me in a code of leadership. Of course, we heard Friday, who the captains were going to be Friday night with Stanyard and Davis and Blackman. Is that a team vote or coaches vote, or how?
No, that's a team vote. And I tell you where it came from. I look at some of the greatest accomplishments I've had as a player, and one of them of mine is twice in my career, high school and college, having been voted a captain by my teammates. We can stand up here as coaches and say that guy's a leader, that guy's a leader, that guy's a leader. Really what we should say is we hope people follow him, we hope people follow him, we hope people follow him. Kids pick the leaders, and that's good and that's bad. So we go through a presentation with the kids. Here's what's important to our football program. These are things to think about. And every kid gets an opportunity to vote for two captains. And after 10 seconds is up, I make them put their pens down. I tell them, if it takes you more than 10 seconds to figure out who the captain is, they're not a captain. So that's a very big thing in our program, and there couldn't be three better people to represent Dothan football in the community and on our team for this season.
Okay.
Coach, I want to talk to you a little bit about defense, and I know one of the things you talked about, that D-line and getting some pressure, and Kendrell Brewer, I know Ty Martin in the backfield all night long chasing, did a great job, but I really want to mention this young man stood out. He's listed at 5'7", 160 pounds, but Torian Wilson was all over the field. I know he had to have at least double-digit tackles. He had 3, it seemed like, in the first minute, but he just has a nose for the football.
Yeah, he does, and that quarterback from Carroll is really, really good. And I told you last week he was the 100-meter state champion. That kid can run. He broke contain on us a couple times. We got to do a better job on that. But yeah, Torian, didn't start last year. He just had a great night. Made some mistakes, but made a heck of a lot more great plays than he did mistakes. And like we talked, there's only 3 returning starters on that defense, so they're talented, but they're going to get better and better and better every week. And, it was they were 2 for 9 on third down. That's what we talk about film. It was one of those things when I watch the game, I'm thinking, gosh, we're not playing very good defensively. But then once you watch the film and say, no, we actually didn't play that bad. We have to tackle better. We chart missed tackles every week. We had way too many missed tackles, but you know what? We had people getting to the football. We had people playing hard. We had people getting lined up, but like I said, I just think that's a group that's going to get better and better every week we play.
Yeah, I know you talk about one mistake, and I'm sure this is a focus of practice, is the old tip drill practice. I don't think I've ever seen as many balls tipped and then caught afterward as we did on Friday night, but some opportunities there I know that you saw that kind of slipped away.
Yeah, it was just I was telling the coach that typically you see that happen once or twice a year. It happened in about a 15-minute period. One was on 4th and 14, and the other one was on 3rd and 12. We had really what should have been picks, ended up being a converted first down, which led to a score, and then a touchdown off the bat. But it is what it is. We just think if you work hard and do the right things, those 50-50 opportunities will end up falling your way, and we know they will. It's just those were 2 that didn't go ours.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, we're going to take a quick time out to hear from our sponsor, but when we come back, we'd like to talk a little bit about the Generals from Lee High School that comes into Rip Hughes Stadium tomorrow night for the first home game. And for you listeners, you can go on to gofan.co to get your tickets, or the ticket booth will be open at the stadium, but gofan.co is a place to get your ticket. You're listening to the Jed Kennedy Coaches Show here on 96.9 The Legend.
Hey everyone, this is Tyler Kent with Property Champions Real Estate. What are the Dothan Wolves striving for this year? A winning season with championship results. If you're looking to buy or sell any type of real estate, anywhere at all, and you want someone on your team who will not stop until you've achieved your championship results, give me a call or send me a text anytime at all. Again, this is Tyler Kent with Property Champions Real Estate at 205-413-2304. That's 205-413-2304. Go Wolves!
Welcome back to the Jed Kennedy Show here on 96.9, The Legend and Coach. We talked about Carroll Eagles from last week. I know you team getting ready for tomorrow night's first region game and home game, and I'm going to say the 90% completed, renovated Rip Hughes Stadium with the turf and concession stands, and I know they're working on the locker rooms and things like that. So what can you tell us that you've seen so far about the Generals of Lee High School out of Montgomery?
Well, number one, we're excited that we actually have film from this season on the team we're playing. As we talked about last week, the first game of the year is such a crab, shoot, just because you're going off spring film. Do they even doing the same things? Do they even have all their people play? Are they even run the same schemes? Where we had a chance to drive up to Montgomery and watch Lee play in Crampton Bowl. It's a typical Lee team. They're physical, they're athletic, they're big. I don't know if they've quite been as big as they have been the last few years. But as you know, that's a place that has as much tradition as anybody in Montgomery, and they're always going to get kids to come there, and they're always going to have a lot of kids and a lot of players and a good staff. They won 8 football games last year, and we're a playoff team. And I've told everybody, as important as last week was, and as important as I think maybe people are looking at some other games against people that are close to us, this is the game. You have to start out 1-0 in this region. It's I think there's realistically in this region 7 people who think they're a playoff team, and I believe we are. I believe that before this thing is done, we're going to have a chance to be a playoff football team. And we're a long ways from there now, but the reality is you cannot start with a loss knowing that you still have people on your schedule like Prattville, Opelika, Central, and Auburn. So this game is monstrous. It's just a monstrous game for our program. First home game, first time for a chance people in the city to get a look at the team, the changes, the stadium. But for us personally, a chance for us to be, at the end of this week, 4 teams are going to be a step behind and making the playoffs, and 4 teams are going to have a step up. And we certainly don't want to be chasing that one of those elusive playoff spots already this early in the season.
Well, talking about the city looking to actually see the team, I thought we had a good turnout Friday night in Carroll from the advantage that Ken and I could see. So anything you can comment on about what the atmosphere is like against Carroll, but also the impact that has for a home game, especially that first home game of the year.
Well, our crowd Friday night at Carroll was phenomenal. And we had just as many people there on our side that Carroll had on their side. It was that's what Friday night is. A standing room only crowd, two well-coached football teams that have kids that play hard going at it. But now we have a chance to do that here. And that's what I encourage people is to get out and on Friday night. There's no better entertainment on a Friday night than high school football, but get out and support these players and support these kids that really play for the school. They play for the city. They play for, the reality is this, it's the only public school in the city. And, we're one of the biggest high schools in the state. This is a great town. It's got great support. And I think the final step of that is let's get people out on a Friday night to show these boys that, because I know that when they take the field and they see a great crowd on our side, it just it really makes the hair stand up on the back of your neck. And I've been at places where I've been a part of that. And, it's really things that these kids will remember the rest of their life. So again, we talked about it. There's tickets on GoFan. There's tickets going to be sold at the gate. And let's just make it an awesome environment for our kids.
Coach, you mentioned you and your staff went to Crampton Bowl Saturday night to watch Lee. What kind of stood out to you offensively and defense about the Generals?
Well, number one, offensively, they got a really good young quarterback, and up there, the big question always is what high school is a kid going to go to? And we had heard earlier that this was kind of the best quarterback coming up. So he's a young kid, but he's a big kid, 6'2", 200 pounds. He's really, really good. They got great receivers. They run the spread, so they're trying to spread it around and still run the football. Defensively, they play a 4-3. They're big. Always going to have big defensive linemen. I know that their middle linebacker is one of their best players, but he also plays fullback, running back for him. So hopefully we can make him play a lot of snaps and wear him down. I know Coach Plott had commented that on the game Friday. We take pride in how we train our kids. I thought, ultimately in the second half, we just wore down Carroll. We were getting 10, 12 yards a clip at the end. And, I never really felt that, this early in the season, how hot it was to only have 2 players get cramps. That's pretty impressive and a tribute to our, number one, the ability that we're feeding our kids daily here at school, and number 2, the training that our kids have done.
Coach, Jerry and I noticed that, and you had a couple of kids with cramps and some others walking gingerly like they were right on the edge. But we commented as hot as it was, and Jerry and I were begging for a timeout up in the press box. It was hot up there, and we needed some pickle juice or mustard or something going on. But I think that's certainly the conditioning, and that comes into play. I know in the game Friday night, you didn't have to show too many formations. You talked about only 3 passes. So I think just watching this offense, and Jerry and I discussed it, of how there's so many options out of that offense now that you can run, and you didn't have to show your hand too much. So in terms of scouts and film work, they didn't have much to go on other than it's a tough road down in the ditches between that offensive and defensive line.
Yeah, and the reality is this, and we've in 7A football, you're gonna have to run more than one formation. You have to throw the football. And what's crazy is we've thrown it well all summer. We threw it well all fall camp. I don't know. We had a couple opportunities. We didn't protect it well on the one. The other one, we didn't throw it well. The other one, we should have but it is what it is. We look at film, we learn from it, we move on. And, but there's a point where we're going to have to, and we got good receivers. Jalen Corbett, Braxton Hornsby, Matt Turner, Jaden Taylor. I mean, heck, when we put Paul Blackman out there, he's going to be as good a receiver as anybody we play against also. So we've got to find different ways to get those athletes the ball. And number one way is, to throw it. So we're going to have to do that more. And I think you'll see us have the ball in the air a little bit more this week against Lee.
Okay. You got to get your road itinerary kind of set. So now that you're going to be at home and you get your itinerary for Friday, give us a quick look in. What does Friday look like for you guys in terms of classes and meals and breaking, and so what's it going to look like for a home game?
We'll start at Thursday night. We go to a different church every week and get a meal and a message. And we do that right after school. To me, it's almost more important than the Friday meal. We know that they're getting a lot of good calories into their body the night before. Come to school on Friday. We have football class here, second period, that starts at 9:45. So we'll go do a walkthrough, do all of our special teams, hand out uniforms. That's during the day. Anytime we have a home game, we have a pep rally at the end of the day. Man, that was awesome last week. Just the pep rally here, and our entire student body got into it for all fall sports, not just us, and the band and the dance team and the step team. And that was awesome. And then we'll feed our kids again right after school we eat at 3:45. I'm pretty regimented about that. We end with a message from Aaron Dickinson of First Baptist Church. I just love listening to him. He's our team chaplain. He gives our kids a short 5 or 6 minute lesson, just kind of theme of the week. And then from there, it's crazy how from 4:15 at 5:15, you're getting ready to load up to go to Rip Hughes and do that. And, my thing, the kids will play music, and, the day really, really, really goes fast. People always talk about how stressful it can be. I would rather be proactive than reactive. Everything's planned out. Coaches have jobs. Coaches have duties. Kids know where to be. Kids know where not to be. And it's crazy. You wake up in the morning, and next thing you know, you're kicking it off at 7 o'clock. And I will say Friday night's game felt like about 12 hours. But that was a long, long game. But we get done. We come back. Our kids grab something to eat on the way out of here, and we clean uniforms, and we get ready for the next week. Football doesn't leave you a lot of time to sit and sulk or sit and enjoy. You just kind of get done and move forward.
Well, Coach, you know, we've talked, I think, last week about numbers of kids we got out and on the team. And Ken and I looked at the roster where it's kind of like a third, even some freshmen in there on this year's roster. And not to put you on the spot, but can you tell our listening audience a little bit about the JV schedule? When's it start? Because we don't, you know, those kids that work Monday through Friday, Monday through Thursday, make the trip, but may not see some playing time. But they're up and coming starters on this varsity team. That's why we got the JV program.
Yeah, their first game is not this Monday, but the following Monday, August 30th, over in Cairo, Georgia. You know, I always tell people we consider those kids starters too. They're just not starting now on Friday nights. So those are important games for us, and our varsity staff coaches those games. So typically those games are played on Monday. We play Enterprise twice in JV just because of travel. That's the one disadvantage we have down here is we're a large school surrounded by a lot of small schools. So we travel to Georgia. We play Bainbridge. We play Auburn. So it's like I said, we play Enterprise twice. So we'll play 6 JV games, and it'll go. But those kids deserve. I can tell everybody they work just as hard and go to the same practices and do the same workouts everybody else does. And you know, that's what we get a chance to watch them. And there will be players who play so well on JV that they'll end up playing on Friday nights before this year's over.
Yeah. And, you know, later on in the season or maybe a week or two ago, we'll talk about, you know, Coach White's group over the 9th grade, which is, you know, your up and coming starters and players on the varsity and junior varsity. So, you know, we may plan ahead to kind of.
I'm going to tell you right now, that's a good group. That's a talented group. We got a lot of them, 57 players. And that's a special group.
And what day of the week do they normally play off?
They play Mondays also. We try to do double headers where freshmen will play at 5, and then JV will play afterwards at 6:30. That gives our varsity staff the ability we'll practice in class on Mondays, do a short practice after school, and then we can go watch our freshmen and then coach the JV game in the same night. So this year we actually have 4 double headers at Rip Hughes.
Well, that'd be something for our listening audience to know that on Monday nights, hey, they can get out to Rip Hughes and watch the future Wolves, and some they see on Friday, and then JV they see on Monday too. So that'd be great to let our listeners know what that schedule is.
Yes, sir.
Coach, last few minutes, I know you and I and Ken and Philip talked about the feeding program. We talked a little bit about nutrition, but last few minutes that we've got of the broadcast today, talk a little bit about that and how that works in with your training and coaching and when it comes to players at Dothan High.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, number one, we want to have, you know, we truly believe that our players at Dothan High School are going to have the best football experience out of, you know, anybody in the Wiregrass and really rival anybody in the state. You know, like last week, our kids were fed every night after practice. And there's been, you know, it's done by different people. We've got, you know, they're fed through the school on Mondays. Mike Schmidt's Automotive Group has been one of our sponsors. They are help involved with feeding our kids on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Every Thursday, we go to a different church in town. Pastor Al Williams of St. James has kind of been awesome with me with getting in 10 different weeks. We'll visit 10 different churches. And I'm a believer that, you know, our kids need to have different experiences. They need to hear from different people. And that's one way we can do that. Last week we were at Ridgecrest Baptist. You know, tonight we're going to be at Bread of Life, eating a meal. And then on our Friday meals, Tim Watson of Hometown Lenders is taking care of our first 2 meals. So there's certainly a lot of different people in this community that have stepped up to help our kids and help the experience. And again, I would put our experience against anybody in the state, and certainly know our experience here is certainly the best one in the Wiregrass.
Well, Coach, that's going to wrap us up for week 2 of the Jed Kennedy Coaches Show here on 96.9 The Legend. Good luck tomorrow night against the Lee High School Generals from Montgomery coming in. Rip Hughes, if you can't go to the game, pregame will be at 6:45. Kickoff is at 7 on 96.9 The Legend. But we hope you can come out for this first opener home game at Rip Hughes on the new, I'm going to say 90% complete, renovated Rip Hughes Stadium. You've listened to the Jed Kennedy Coaches Show here on 96.9 The Legend.
Hey everybody, this is Stephen Holland
And this is Tyler Kent.
with Property Champions Real Estate, and we're here along with you all to show our support for the Dothan Wolves and wish them great success on a winning season.
Just as they pursue a championship, we're here to provide championship results with all of your real estate goals.
So you can call or text me, Stephen Holland, at 334-797-0134.
Or me, Tyler Kent, at 205-413-2304.
Go Wolves!